Hello. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Nero. I have a very exciting video for you today. Today, I'm going to do a tier list of every single game that I've played on stream so far on what I like to call Season 1, which is basically before I got my nice new PC. I saw this idea on YouTube. I wanted to go ahead and improvise a little bit of a video here now that I have a little bit of time. I'll be ranking every single game that I played on stream in Season 1. And it also be ranking my experience playing set games on stream. How was the streaming experience? How was the technical issues? Everything like that. All that will be considered on this tier list, so let's get right into it. Eschathos. It's just here as an excuse for me to talk about Eschathos. It's a fantastic shooter game. It's a really good shooter that you can find for very cheap on Steam. You can also play it on the Xbox. And the streaming experience was very short. I played like one playthrough of it for a variety stream. But I really like Eschathos as a game, so I'm kind of biased. I'm gonna put this on A. Okay, PS1 variety stream. I'm gonna put this on B. From what I remember, I streamed like Elemental Gunvolt and like Spyro and whatnot, and you know, a bunch of different PS1 games, but it didn't feel like that I had that much of a structure, you know. I definitely want to do more of this console showcase stuff. The last one I did was on the Dreamcast, I believe, a while ago. And I want to do more on the GameCube and the PS2 and whatnot, and the Super Nintendo. But I want it to be more focused, so I need to find more games that have more in common with each other. The D&D arcade game.
Welcome to the D&D world.
Okay, if we're ranking this as the same game, these are both in A. But I feel like Shadows over Mystara is better than Tower of Doom. Both of them are great, obviously. They're Capcom beat 'em ups. They did a fantastic job at adapting 2nd edition rule set into a beat 'em up of all things, in a way only Capcom can do it with Final Fight and whatnot. I will say though, I think my experience will be different if I played it online. I feel like I would have liked it even more, so definitely want to get a nice stream collab, get together and do it. Republic Commando, that's a D. It was a really fun game and I really like streaming it, but the streams were so like laggy because my PC could barely handle it, which is very weird. This game is old. But yeah, I definitely want to play this again. Maybe not on stream. I've played Republic Commando 50 times and I kind of want to play it again just by looking at it. It's a really good game. There's not another Star Wars game that quite compares to it. You know, it's very unique. I don't think there's ever been another squad-based shooter in the Star Wars like universe, which is a total shame. We need to get Republic Commando 2 in modern consoles, and playing Republic Commando in a modern PC is not that good. So they actually had to fix that. They need a remaster or remake, just like I love the games here, but we'll be getting into that a little bit later. Downhill is say A. I played a little bit of it before playing Katana Zero, and I really like Downhill. Downwell. Did I call it Downhill? Okay, so Downwell. I played a little bit of Downwell after playing Katana Zero, I believe. Downwell is a very replayable experience. It's kind of like a roguelike. It's just like a little fella going down the well, and every time you pass the screen, you get some kind of upgrade or anything like that. Of course, to your health, your weapons. There's different weapons that you can try out. They have different attributes. It's pretty much a platformer roguelike in that sense. It's very fun to play, and I really do recommend it to everybody. It's on the phone if you're into playing on your phone. Silver is a B. I haven't gotten to the S yet. Silver is a very charming game, but it's definitely a product of its time. I feel like Infogrames did a fantastic job at doing an action RPG with a very unique battle system where you use your mouse actually to attack in different patterns, like swinging it in a different way, kind of like you're swinging a sword. And it's fun, but at one point it gets kind of tiring to swing move your mouse around to attack every time. Okay, it's kind of like Skyrim in that way. Like at the beginning when you first play in Skyrim, you focus on all the really cool vistas and the music being so good. But then you realize that you just click in left, right. You just click in your mouse over and over. And that's like the combat. There isn't that much depth to it. Silver kinda has more depth, sorta. But for today's standards, not so much. Just people, if you like pre-rendered backgrounds and all 90s like RPG design philosophy like I do, then you're gonna be right at home with Silver. But it's honestly there's better options. Silver would be in C if streaming it wasn't so much fun. It was really fun. Coteries in New York playing once with water. It was really fun, but it was really fun because I played it with water. Normally, I would play Coteries in New York normally, yeah, but like, I don't know. You have to be in the mood for these kinds of games, for a nice long visual novel. I like the art style. DMC3 is gonna be an SC. DMC3, Devil May Cry 3 is my favorite game of all time. I love DMC3. I didn't treat it with the respect it deserved, so to speak. I kind of just played it because I could. In between doing other stuff on stream, like reacting to stuff and playing other games, you know, as like a filler. This is not a filler game. DMC3 is a game that requires time and commitment and like concentration and whatnot, but because it's so casual to me, it's like a comfort game. I can't really do that with it, so it's like a game I play between games for me. Sometimes I just want to replay DMC3, so it's a very complicated situation where I can't really stream DMC3 without completely zoning out and just relaxing and not saying anything. But I might try it one day. Maybe I'll start some mods on it and I'll in the future and I'll start playing it again, who knows. Lancer Tactics, I played the demo of it, it's an A. Olive did a fantastic job in Lancer Tactics to translate the actual tabletop rule set into a video game. And the demo was so impressive that I really want to try the full game. I'm really excited for it to come out. So yeah, Lancer Tactics is an A. The D&D character creation stream.
Welcome to the D&D world.
This is gonna be an S. I loved making my first D&D character on stream. It's not my first, but you know, my first is, you know, the character you see right now. Kind of remade it on D&D 5e on stream, and it's really sad that I couldn't do any more D&D streams in the future. Sadly, my PC wasn't good enough, but now that I have a new one, I might be able to do more D&D stuff. So I could invite some of my friends that want to get into D&D, help them make their characters and whatnot. It's gonna be fun. Oceanomics. Oceanomics is an S. No explanation. You already know. I love Oceanomics so much. My favorite indie game of last year. I was super excited when it came out. I was very excited when I finished it. And I still have a massive crush on Quinn. Part of my name on Twitch is due to Oceanomics. That's why I call Neuronomics. I am called Neuronomics because of Oceanomics. This game is like has a very special place in my heart. I just really like it. Like it has so much charm and personality and the animations and the graphics. It's just something you gotta play at least once. If you like management games, card games, or just cute characters and stuff like that, and like dating simulator experiences in your games, then you're gonna like Oceanomics. Please play it. Blood Omen. Blood Omen's a C. Blood Omen is not a bad game, but it is not the best introduction to the series in my opinion. It has been a little bit since I played it. I can say though, there are certain parts of Blood Omen that pissed me right the fuck off. I just did not like them one bit. This game is kind of hard, and it's like against, and it doesn't work to enrich the experience at all, like an actual like a From Software game or whatnot, or DMC3 for example. I am really happy that things turned out the way they did in terms of gameplay with Legacy of Kain, with the next game, because this was not it. Again, it's not a bad game, but it's not great. It's really sad that it has the second best combat system in the whole series. It's like, Legacy of Kain is weird. It's very weird. We're gonna be seeing more of that with Soul River. Soul River's an A. I love it. It was really nice to finally finish a game that I've been playing since I was 2. Because I was like 2 years old or something. And finally seeing the ending of it and being left with even more questions about the things, because I had a lot of questions about the game. It had a really interesting like cinematic that I didn't understand because I didn't know English, for example. And the lore and everything looked so intriguing. Was it with all those faces at the start of the game and the statues? Was it the cool little guy with the wings? What's his story? What's up with Kain? You know, And finally playing it with the context of Blood Omen and with more context for Soul River 2, it was fantastic. We also spent a lot of time talking about pizza, and I think that was really cool. So yeah, Soul River is an A. Katana Zero. Katana Zero is one of the best indie games I've played in my entire life. It's a very simple concept that you just play around with. You're playing as a samurai who has a drug that lets you go back in time and slow down time and do a lot of time shenanigans stuff. It has like 2 buttons, but it's very satisfying to pull off different combos and stuff. And most enemies can die in 1 hit. And the story is very intriguing and very subtly presented. Actually, I did a video on Katana Zero on my experience with it and the story mode. It's very short, but it's very satisfying to play. So you owe it to yourself to just play some Katana Zero. It's gonna be an A. Dreamcast. Dreamcast goes in S. I really like the Dreamcast. I really wish I could play more Dreamcast games, but like, I've been looking at Dreamcast mods and I feel like I haven't found one that's very streamable. And if there is, there's a better version in a different console. So I need to find something that's very Dreamcast only. Definitely my favorite one was Sonic Adventure 2, because like, it was so rage-inducing that it was different to anything else I played on the channel at the time, and I want to go back to it and play the rest of it because it's fucking stupid. That game is ridiculous. Like, it's like the story is very weird. It has awful audio mixing. It has a lot of problems, but it's very entertaining. Let's go Valhalla. Valhalla is an S as well. I wouldn't say it's a niche game at all, but it's definitely an eyebrow raising game. I don't know if it's in a good way or not. It kind of depends on your taste, you know. It goes back to all this stuff about, you know, anime being weird and Valhalla having a lot of anime tropes. But a lot of dialogue I really enjoyed, and some of the themes it touches, especially with the main story, or just some of the banter with the clients. I thought it was fantastic. The graphics are also great. I really like the pixel art. It looks like a PC-98 visual novel, but it's modern. In quotation marks, this game is kind of old. And I don't know, I feel like the weird anime shit, for me, I'm kind of numb to it, but for someone who is not into anime tropes and whatnot, and cat girls and shit like that, and, you know, a certain character especially, they won't like this game at all because of it, because I know that people can be really bothered about certain anime stuff that I'm a little bit more tolerant about. A little bit. I really want the sequel to come out because all that weird anime shit has evolved at this point, and people's perception of anime and anime becoming even more mainstream than it was back when Valhalla came out. Except so there's a different environment and atmosphere when it comes to anime games, and Valhalla isn't an exception to that. So I really want Nirvana to come out. And I also really like when Yeek characters showed up because they actually looked better. They looked better than the actual Yeek characters from Yeek. It was very funny. Oh, and rest in peace my hot dog. Ah, man, the hot dog just got dropped. Oh my god. No, my hot dog. Stupid hot dog holder. I hate it. Also, I cried during this game. Like, out of nowhere, it got really... out of nowhere, it got real. And it hit a lot of things that hit close to home to me. And I actually teared up and cried a little bit. On stream, which is not something I like to do. I don't like crying on stream. But it was kind of a satisfying cry, so to speak. I liked it. It was fun. Soul River 2 is an S tier because it's my favorite Soul River game. Purely because of that. It has problems like the combat and whatnot, but the story is such a step up from the original, which was already great. The presentation is fantastic. This game came out in 2001, and it looks great. 23 years later, and it still looks fantastic. It looks dated. It looks like a PS2 game, but the art direction and the animations, all the environments, the character models, it's like one of the best looking PS2 games. And I really, really, really wish that more people played Soul River 2. I feel like people really like Soul River 1 because of nostalgia, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's overrated. It's definitely not, but people should like Soul River 2 a little bit more than Soul River 1. I don't know, I always thought that was kind of weird. And speaking of weird, Blood Omen 2, it was actually my worst stream of the season. Blood Omen 2 was fucking awful to play, to set up, and to stream. I don't know what happens here. There's an interesting story here with the developers of Soul River 2 having like a different team working parallel to them that were working on Blood Omen 2, and that made it so that Blood Omen 2 was kind of trash. It's very generic. The combat system, it does not work. It's like a bootleg PC game that's like low fantasy that they somehow put like the Blood Omen label on top, and it's kind of irrelevant. It's very relevant to the story of Legacy of Kain. So like, when I played this instead of playing Defiance, I was fucking stupid. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was dumb.
No. No, no, come on. Come the fuck on. Piece of shit. Oh, this fucking game, I hate you so much, Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 2. You piece of...
So like, yeah, skip Blood Omen 2. It sucks. It's really bad. Pikuniku was my favorite stream that I ever made on the season 1. It's such a funny and charming game, and I'm literally not gonna talk more about it because you should play it yourself. It's very short, but it's very gratifying and fun to play. If you like silly little fellas and silly little games like me, then you're gonna like Pikuniku a whole lot. Monster Camp is S. Oh, I love S's here. Monster Camp, I played it with Nekova. It was actually, no, I played it first with Water and Trisvine. I think Fanway was there too. And Thatch, yeah. We were just voicing the characters and having fun together. And it was a really fun first stream for me. So I'm really glad I came back to it with Nekova and played through it, because Nekova's voice acting really elevated the experience. I really liked playing this game with friends. If you have your mind in the gutter, like I do, and you like adult games, as in games that say the fuck word, then you're going to like Monster Camp. The writing is very silly, but it's very charming, and I feel like it could be. I think it's the second best visual novel that I've played on the channel so far, aside from maybe Valhalla, which is also very silly. Transistor is on S, purely because of the story. I thought it was really cute. I really like the design of the main character. The art of it is fantastic, and the music is great too. I certainly wish it was a little bit longer, but I can definitely see why it isn't, because it's an indie story-based game that they put a lot of effort into the visuals and the aesthetics and all the music and all whatnot. I really wish they did a Transistor 2, but again, I don't want them to, because the story wraps up so nicely. What I wanted to do is make a Transistor DLC that turns it into Hades. I want a Transistor roguelike mode. That would be fantastic. Legacy of Kain Defiance. Just an A. Defiance is really good, but it's not as good as Soul River 2. When it comes to the story, it ties a lot of loose ends when it comes to the Soul River story, as well as connecting it more with Blood Omen, kinda in the same way that Soul River 2 did. And I really appreciated that. But they also tried a new battle system that is more like God of War / Devil May Cry, and it's fine. Like, it's fun at first, it's really fun at first, but they don't really add that many new mechanics later on to make you want to play around with the battle system in the way that something like God of War does or Devil May Cry does, where you're constantly having new upgrades and new items and weapons and whatnot. They change the way you play, and they have different properties. In Defiance, I feel like you have like your normal attack combo, your aerial combo, you have a wall bounce, not a wall bounce, you have a ground bounce, and you have an aerial ground bounce. And that's it. After that, you have the different reavers with different like assigned elements, but that only helps to have different types of elemental damage. And I feel like they could have done more with it. Then again, the focus again, as well as any other game in the Legacy of Kain series, is on the story. The gameplay is not really touched up that much, which is something that I really wanted to fix in the remake or remaster or anything like that they do in the future. I wanted to focus a little bit more on the gameplay. I still want the story to be the main focus, of course. It could have, in every game in Legacy of Kain, the gameplay, the combat specifically, could be better. And I really feel like going in a God of War 4 approach, where they completely revamped the storytelling in combat. It could work really well with Legacy of Kain, since God of War 4 is really cinematic. That could also work with Legacy of Kain. Like having an open world Nosgoth that you can play as Raziel or Kain on an over-the-shoulder view, and having the different companions and upgrades that you can pick up, something like that, or something like Jedi Fallen Order could work too. Maybe Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was my favorite RPG that I played on the channel so far. There's something about it that is so good. You really gotta play. It doesn't require any grinding. You don't have to grind for ammo. You don't have to grind for items or abilities. The rhythm is very well made. The story is pretty good, but the gameplay is a combination between like old Final Fantasy games and Vagrant Story, but with ranged weapons instead of melee weapons. So it's really satisfying to play. Also, the music by Yoko Shimomura holds hard. It's so good. It was one of those RPGs that left you like, it's like an experience and leaves you empty when you finish it. Which is why I haven't played Parasite Eve 2 yet, because I really don't want them to ruin the story. Like, it wraps up really nice. Omega Strikers goes on A. I played it with Uzi and I played it with Nekova on my stream and on their streams, and it's a really fun game. I don't play it that much nowadays because there's a ton of new stuff that I haven't learned about, like different heroes and whatnot that they have added, and I really don't have the time to do that. I have other games to play, but it's a fun game. I really like Era, and I really like Yuno's Bernal Edge. It's a B. I played not that much of it, but what I played, I really enjoyed it. No, actually, it's an A. Solar Regalia is an S, but what I played on stream is an A. Solar Regalia is one of those games that you will get lost in at first, but when it clicks and you know where to go, and then you just get a new ability that you didn't have before, and you just play around with it, and you explore more and get new abilities from that, is the perfect kind of Metroidvania. It's fantastic. And it's also a really good game to look at to see what a Legacy of Kain Soul River remake would look like in terms of gameplay. Think about it. What do you do the most in Soul River 1? You just walk around and explore the world and do platform. It's the same thing as Solar Regalia, but in Solar Regalia, the combat takes a step down, but they focus a lot on exploration and giving you new movement ability. And everything changes with each other so nicely, and the discoveries you make inside of the world are very interesting and really gratifying to pull off different combos to get to different parts, even before you even are allowed to buy the game. You can actually sequence break the fuck out of this game. I played through it on off-stream actually, because I had to take a break, but I was playing Soul Regalia through my break, and it's fantastic. I really wish that if they do a Soul River remake, they do it like Soul Regalia, where the focus is on exploring Nosgoth and getting movement. Like, that's the main focus that Soul River's gotta have, not the combat, the movement. And you can make Blood Omen games to focus on the combat. I feel like that's my ideal. And Legend of Dragoon is an S. Legend of Dragoon might be my Legend of Dragoon is very close to my favorite RPG on the PS1. I feel like Parasite Eve kind of wins in that regard, but it's definitely one of my favorite streams that I did. It was very long, but you know, that's how RPGs are. I was really immersed in the story, even though it was very campy and cheesy, but you know, that's the charm of it. It's like playing a 90s shonen anime where everyone yells their attacks and does their stuff. Yeah, and it's very cheesy, but it's very cool at the same time. It's really funny and it's really fun. And the combat system is fantastic and the music is very emotive. And just play Legend of Dragoon, please. It's one of the best RPGs on the PS1, and I wish more people played it. I wouldn't say it's a lost gem, but it's definitely kind of underrated. Not that many people play Legend of Dragoon, but the ones that do loved it, and I am one of those people. And yeah, that's the Nier Non-Existent 1 tier list. I'm definitely planning on making a Season 2 tier list once I do a little bit more work on the channel, and you know, I declare the season as over to begin Season 3. All these games are fantastic, except for you. I'm really excited to play more games. I really want to play more variety of games. Maybe I'll do one in January of 2025 to see what changed about the channel, what changed about the the games that I play, the type of games that I'm playing. The main goal of the channel is gonna be showcasing more consoles because the Dreamcast and PS1 streams are really fun. Find another RPG that I can get very, very invested in, and find another franchise that I can play through and see what it's like to actually go through the process of playing every single game and getting disappointed at some of the games, but getting hype on some of the games and all of that. That's something I really like doing in video games. It's playing a whole franchise instead of just playing one game. And I really want to do that on stream again. I can only do that once a year because the games are long usually. When they're franchise games, they're pretty long. So I'll just have to find another RPG and another franchise in the meantime. You guys can expect more TFT, more Apex, more retro games, and all that good stuff. I'll have to see you all later. Take care of yourselves. You're awesome. Bye bye.